Hello, my name is Alan, and I'm working on a multiplayer action RPG in Unity. I've made a few small projects in the past, and I've made a few action RPGs before, so I wanted to make my first multiplayer game, so I figured I would try to make a multiplayer RPG. It's been a very, very tall task. It is very, very difficult, but this is what I've had so far, and I kind of want to showcase some of that progress. So in the last video, I covered the state machine or the state system for the player and the enemy, and the ability systems, and the buff and debuff system that I created. So in this video, I want to cover the where I expanded on that, and I made the CC system, the crowd control system, like stuns, silences, disarms, knockback, knockup, and that sort of thing. One of the first things I wanted to work on was these tooltips. So I just kind of modified the way they looked a little bit, and their stats actually do now contribute to the player's actual stats. On the right here, we have these skill panels, and I added these tooltips to the skill UI. And so what we can do is we can go and we could fight a few enemies. I also fixed a lot of bugs or issues with the combat, so the combat feels a lot more smooth. The interrupt is also a lot better now. Since I was working on the CC system, getting the interrupt to feel good is very key. So the bottom bar that you see is their cast bar. So when it's black, they're casting a spell. When it's purple or pink, that's when they're recovering. And if I successfully interrupt it, it goes red. And before there was a lot of bugs with that, and so right now it's in a really good state that I'm very happy with. So one of the other things I added was when the player gets hurt. So let me go ahead and get hurt here. So you'll see my player temporarily enters a new state that I don't have the art for yet. So that's why the color gets a little off when I get hurt, because it's a new state, and so I will draw the animations for it. So that's why the hair and the eyes get out of sync after the player gets hurt. But yeah, once I add the animations, that will be fixed. So yeah, this state is for basically signaling to the player that you're not able to move during that state. You're basically stunned, essentially, for that state. You're like staggered for a little bit if you get hurt by some specific ability. So I don't think all abilities will hurt you in that way, but that's a design decision I'll make later. And then once you level up, you can select a few of your different spells. So now these spells will actually stun. So if I do this one here, I will stun the enemies, and you can see that that little bar when they get stunned, that little icon, when they get stunned. So right here, you'll see that. And the other ability will also stun as well. So depending, whatever ability you pick, they're both gonna stun. Then once you level up past that point, what you can do is you can put your skill points into, or your attribute points, I should say, into your character here. So I can like boost my character's health if I wanted to, or can boost my character's damage. And I also worked a little bit on the journal. So I'm just kind of getting this started. So eventually what I would like this to do is to track all the skills, all the quests available to you. And then you should be able to, kind of get some info about the rewards of that quest and things like that. I think MapleStory had a system very similar. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with that. And one of the last things I did was I improved the save system. So now when you equip an item and you leave the game and you come back, the everything in your inventory and whatever you equipped will be saved. And so there's that little bit of persistence that the game has now, which is great. Actually feels a lot more like an actual game when the save system remembers you and stuff. It feels good. So very happy about the progress so far. This last month or two, the progress hasn't been that substantial. To be honest, it's like a lot of like small improvements that I've been making. But I think those improvements do add up. So overall, this update isn't too flashy. It's not like anything visually very appealing, but it's just again, just all these small little things that are adding up. And I think the game, the feel, the combat it's starting to shape up, and I really want to nail the combat in this game. So one of the harder aspects is going to be the multiplayer aspects of the game. When it comes to just doing a peer-to-peer connection, you're going to be at the mercy of the host. So basically how it works is whoever the first person to connect to the game is, that is going to be the host of the game. So they are essentially going to be the server. They are going to be who everybody else connects to. And so if the host is lagging, then everybody's lagging, or if the host disconnects, then everybody disconnects. So it's not a great system for an RPG like this, but it's very affordable. So that's why I have this system currently in place. I am learning about a dedicated server, what options I have, but that's just more in the planning phase. I don't have any promises about making this game a dedicated server, but I would say never. And if there's something that's affordable and it's easy to implement, then I will absolutely do what I can to try to make something like that happen. But as of right now, the goal is to just kind of make a multiplayer RPG prototype, something that I can just play with my friends and have some fun, level up, kill monsters. And I want to kind of design like the rest of this game. So that's going to be the focus for now. And then maybe in the future I can go back and change the way that the game and the multiplayer aspect is in the back end. But other than that, there's just a few other small improvements, like navigation with controller support. I added some mobile UI so that when I'm away from my desk, or I can like play the game on my phone, or I can show my friends the progress on the game and stuff. So one of the next things that I want to work on in this game is going to be the quest system and the NPC system. So I'd like to have a few different NPCs running around. Some are going to be villagers, some are going to be quest givers, some are going to be vendors, and I want like a dynamic system, so that any NPC could be any of these, quest giver or whatever. Maybe they can have a quest for you and they can be a vendor, things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna work on finishing the quest system and the NPC system. That's gonna be the next thing that I do. And that is about it. If you have any suggestions or feedback for me, feel free to let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a nice day.